whenever. Namaste. Om. 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 Sahana vavatu. Sahanau bhunaktu. Sahaviryam karavavahai. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sabhayai Namaha. Om Shri Matre Namaha. Gomatre Namaha. Gita Matre Namaha. Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Saluting Ganesha, the remover of obstacles, Mother Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge and wisdom, and all the gurus, the Guru Shishya Parampara, your gurus, my gurus, and gurus' gurus, and you all, this August assembly, for your very valuable time to spare with us here, and saluting the mother of all mothers, and Veda Mata, Mother Cow, and Mother Earth, and Gita Mata, Lord Krishna, Jagat Guru. Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Today we shall start our first chapter. As you have noticed, we have first started our class with the Dhyana Shlokas. Then, instead of starting the first chapter, we went to 12th chapter, as it's a tradition in some ashrams, places, and schools. The 12th chapter is so easy because of its profound message and also Anushtup Chandas, the easy prosody, and very few verses, 20 verses. But we will go through that again after our 11th chapter in a sequence. And today we shall dwell on chapter 1. Chapter 1, the name of the chapter is Arjuna Vishada Yogaha. Atha Prathamodhyayaha Arjuna Vishada Yogaha. As we discussed, these names were not given by Vyasa Maharshi. They are not there in the original Mahabharata. But the sages, we don't know who, many sages have given this name for each chapter. And very interestingly, if you dwell on the name of the chapter, the message of the chapter is so clear in the name itself. So here, Arjuna Vishada Yogaha. Arjuna's despondency, and as a yoga, Yoga, it derives its name from Yuj Dhatu. The root word is Yuj. Yuj means union, uniting. This individual soul uniting with the supreme consciousness is called yoga. That's one definition. One definition. And Vishada, how can Vishada be a yoga? That deep inquiry, the deep introspection. When you have seen everything in life, and then there is something more that we haven't got that we should get. The purpose of life is not fulfilled yet. In that situation, all of us go through this moment of Vishada, a deep intellectual inquiry, leading us nowhere. And in such a situation, with the grace from above, with the guidance from gurus, with the grace of Shastra, the scriptures, and the teachers, we get that vichara. Then Vishada to Vichara. From Vichara to Vichakshana and Viveka. A discriminating power between what is real and what is not. What is important and what is not. And what is worldly and what is beyond the world. And who am I? And who is that? And what is the relation between me and that? So that Vichakshana will come. So from Vishada to Vichara to Viveka, and from Viveka, the Vairagya will come. Again, Vairagya is such a great name. Vigata Raga. So we lose our attachments to the mundane things, the less important things in life, and then get attached to the higher, supreme consciousness. So that is the purpose. And the context here is the war and the war field. The war and the war field. Kurukshetra is a place near Delhi. I was fortunate to visit. It's a very auspicious place. It's worth visiting. Where the war took place. Kuru Maharaj, the ancestor of Kauravas and Pandavas, did an immense penance there and got the boon that whoever performs penance, whoever studies there, whoever does tapas, or whoever participates in the war for Kshatriya is something very righteous if they have to go through. They will attain the Swarga, or the best of the goals. So this boon was given to Kuru Maharaj, and that's why Pandavas and Kauravas chose this place for the war. But not only that, geographically, if you look at it, it's all plain lands for a fair war. And with a lot of water bodies, because you need water, you need land, and it is between two rivers. So this is Kurukshetra. And it is a Dharma Kshetra where right and wrong are decided, and the conquest of the right happens in that field. So there is Dharma Kshetra and Kurukshetra. If you have seen, Sureshji chanted, by the way, Sureshji and Jyoti, and they chanted it so well. But you have to see the labor pains they had gone through to get to this perfection. So they practiced and practiced and practiced. But a few years ago, I know they were new to this, and then they, by the blessings of their teachers and grace of, again, Lord Krishna, Mother Gita, and Ganapati Sachidananda Swami's mission. So they did this, and any of you can do this, I guarantee, if you want. So you might have noticed, Atha Prathamodhyayaha was the beginning. Atha and Om. I have chanted Om and Gurugulu. Many teachers, if you have noticed, a scriptural study begins with Om. Om is a primordial sound, and so is Atha. This shloka is from elsewhere. The importance of Om and Atha is said in this. Omkarascha Atha Shabdascha Dvavetau Brahmanapura Kantham Bhitva Viniryatau Tasman Mangalikara Ubhav. These two are very auspicious. Please don't mind about the shloka part, but this is the meaning of it is these Atha and Om are very auspicious. Mangalikarau, Mangalikarau. Mangala is auspicious. Shiva, Bhadram, Shubham, Mangalam. So these are all very auspicious words. So Omkara and Atha also. And Atha is a word which is used in Bhagavad Gita also. Verse 20, we will see, we'll come across that. But Atha Prathamodhyayaha, Atha Dvitiyodhyayaha, we say that. And Narada Bhakti Sutras, we have seen last time. Atha Bhaktim Vyakhyāsyāmaha. In Patanjali Yoga Sutras also, in Yoga Shastra, we see Atha Yoganuशासनम. Then Brahma Sutras also begin with Athato Brahma Jignasa. So Atha is very auspicious word. So is Om. And we will talk about Om in forthcoming chapters much more. So why Warfield? Why Warfield? A scriptural study has to take place in a class like this, or in an ashram, or under a tree, or in a forest, or these are the princes. The Prince Arjuna, he could have easily been taught in the palace, but it's not in any of those places that we mentioned. It is in the war field. In the midst of the war field, this teaching has taken place. That's because we live in the midst of this war every day, day in and day out, the conflicts, the do's and the don'ts, what's good and what's not, what's right and what's not, in that particular context. So that we go through every day. And that's why we need this teaching every day. And it is in 700 verses. Why 700? I sent a lot of messages about why 700. So 7 is such a great mystic number. To simply put it, we live only 7 days in our lives. There is no 8th day to live. From Sunday to Monday, there are only 7 days. And these 7 days, we live hundreds of times. And that's why the message is put in 700 verses. Hence, it's called Gita Saptashati. Gita Saptashati. And it's a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. We will go through this once again at the end of the session today. So it's a dialogue. It's a friendly dialogue. So a lot of things were discussed in this dialogue. It is not a vada. It is not a pravada. It is not a vivada. So vada means it's the two parties are not syncing with each other. It's pretty much like quarreling with each other. So vada, pravada, and vivada. Whereas in dialogue, in samvada, there is a synchrony between the two people, the teacher and the taught, the questioner and the answerer. So the dialogue takes place with harmony. Understanding between two of them is so necessary for this dialogue to take place. That's why we say, Sahanau avatu, Sahanau bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karavavahai, Tejasvinau adhitamastu, Mahavidvishavahai. Let there be no misunderstanding between us. And it is in the midst of Mahabharata, as we have seen in Dhyana Shlokas. Then it's narrated by Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra. After Bhishma fell on 10th day, Sanjaya narrates it as a flashback. And that's why Gita Jayanti is celebrated on Ekadashi in Margashirsha Masa. Ekadashi is a very auspicious day in Vaishnava Sampradaya, like Pradosha Trayodashi in Shaiva Sampradaya. And Dhritarashtra asks the question. And in Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita begins with this question by Dhritarashtra, and Sanjaya narrates. So Gita Jayanti, there are people who argue when it actually happened and what exact day it was. Let's leave that for historians. For you and me, I think Gita Jayanti is the day when we got that call, the call to study Gita. That is Gita Jayanti in us. And Vyasa Maharshi dictates, and Ganesha is a scribe. We talked about this in previous sessions as well. So there is one other great stotra in our scriptures which was taught in the war field and which is very energizing advice. Pardon me for the spelling there. And it is Agastya Maharshi, Agastyo Bhagavan Rishihi. He comes to Rama and then gives this advice, Upadesha, in the war field before Rama kills Ravana. And Valmiki Maharshi is the author of Ramayana, and we see this in Yuddha Kanda. So these are the two of the greatest stotras, and both of them were taught in the war field with the utmost effect. And the verse begins with Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samavetayuyotsavaha Mamakah Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. We could talk on this verse for next 1 hour, but because of lack of time, I'll try to give the important points about this verse. In fact, Shankaracharya has not written any commentary until 11th verse of 2nd chapter. And many people do not take the first chapters seriously. But one of our teachers, in fact, my teacher, who taught me the philosophical aspect of Bhagavad Gita before Swami Bodhananda came into my life, Sister Garu, he spoke for 3 days on this one line, Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre. So you can imagine the profound message in the first chapter. And Paramahamsa Yogananda, he goes in a very yogic way and a very high level into meditative aspect in explaining, commenting, giving commentary on first chapter. So Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Dhritarashtra is the blind king. Dhrutam Rastram Anena iti Dhritarashtra. The one who holds the kingdom so firmly, or in a passive sense, by one, this kingdom is held firmly, is called Dhritarashtra. So it's a very good name the parents have given to Dhritarashtra, that he is going to be the king, future king, and then he is going to take care of the kingdom by holding on to the kingdom so well. But there is another meaning as well. The one who is holding on to throne by hook or crook. So that intense attachment to that position. And there is one more meaning as well. Rashtra means the kingdom. And the kingdom is the kingdom of body, mind, and intellect and ego complex. So this is called the kingdom of body, mind, and intellect and ego complex. This is also called Pura, the city of 9 gates or 11 gates. This is also called Kshetra. Kshetra means Kheti, the field. Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetramitya Bhidhiyate. In 13th chapter, we come across this. So Kshetram is a field. So this field. So Kurukshetra means one is the auspicious place we talked about. But Kurukshetra means Kuru means Karo in Hindi, Kuru in Sanskrit means act. So the field of action, the field of action. So this body. So the one who holds on to this body, mind, and intellect complex. Dehabhimani, Dehabhimani in Sanskrit we say. But the one who looks at the Dehi inside this Deha, Shariri inside this Sharira, Kshetrajna inside this Kshetra is the one who is the realizer, the one who is the one united with the God. So from Dhritarashtra, we should get to that stage where we become one with the God. So in this Dharma Kshetra, this is field of dharmas. Because Sharira Madhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. This Sharira is important to practice any dharma. And some people put it as Sharira Madhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. Madhyam means media. This Sharira is a medium or podium to perform any activity. So I hope I made it very clear. So this body is a medium, podium to perform any action. So Shariram Adhyam Kalu Dharma Sadhanam or Shariram Adhyam. First of all, the body is the most important thing. We have to take care of this body. We have to take care of our health and we have to keep this body healthy. So it's very important. So Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre. Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. So Sanjaya, oh Sanjaya, Dhritarashtra is asking. When he heard that Bhishma fell, he was taken aback. He could not believe that because Bhishma had this great boon of leaving his body on his own. And he was invincible. So now Dhritarashtra is asking, oh Sanjaya, after assembling in the place of this pilgrimage Dharmakshetra at Kurukshetra, so assembling Samaveta, those who are very inquisitive to fight, Yuyutsavaha, and who are they? Mamakaha, my sons, and Pandavaha, Pandava's sons. What did they do? Kim Akurvata, O Sanjaya. Now if you look at this third line, Mamakaha, my own. So mine and my own is that raga. Pandavaha, not mine. They are different from me. So that's dvesha. So raga and dvesha. Mamakara is the one which is so explicitly seen in this verse. And then if you look at one more thing, dharma is the first word in this first verse. Dharma is the first word in the first verse. So usually any great text starts with an auspicious word. So dharma, dharanat dharma. Because of dharma, everything is upheld. Because of this dharma, this universe is existing. Because of this dharma, we are living our life in this world. And because of dharma, the world is existing. And because of dharma, righteousness is prevailing. The right is conquering over the wrong. So dharma is such a great word to begin Bhagavad Gita. If you say, no, Dhritarashtra is the first word, then Swami Dayananda gives another great example. Dhritarashtra, we just said that this rashram, in this case, now we have to take it as universe. This universe, Dhrutam Anena. So by him, this universe is upheld so well. This universe is held so well by him. So that God, that Vishnu, Shiva, Paramatma, is speaking through Dhritarashtra, the blind king, who is in us. So God himself is speaking through this Dhritarashtra. So you can say even Dhritarashtra is Vishnu's name. Dhritarashtra is blind king's name. Dhritarashtra is you and me, because we are holding on to this I, me, and myself, mine and my own complex, and this body, mind, and intellect, ego complex. So we are Dhritarashtras, and we begin this. So dharma. And the last verse of the last word of the last verse in Bhagavad Gita is mama. Most of you know this verse. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishnaha, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Srirvijayo Bhutihi, Dhruvani Tirmatir Mama. Mama is the last word. Mama means mine. So my dharma is taught in 698 verses in between. But in this verse itself, if you actually look for the answer, the first word is dharma, and the last word is sanjaya, jaya. Jaya means victory. So dharmaha, jayaha. So dharma is the one which prevails. Dharma conquers. So dharmaha, yato dharmaha, tato jayaha. Why? Wherever dharma is, that's where the victory is. Why? Yato dharmaha tatak Krishnaha. Yatha Krishnaha tato jayaha. Wherever there is dharma, there is Krishna, and wherever there is Krishna, there is Jaya. So with that, we'll just go to the next aspect of this verse. So Ahalya Bai, the great queen of Indore, I had again a chance to visit their place. The place in Indore is so beautiful, and we owe a lot to Ahalya Bai. She served so much for Sanatana Dharma. So she one day wanted to study Bhagavad Gita, and she asked a Pandit, and Pandit starts chanting, and she stops him just there, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre. So some commentators have put it this way, that she actually rearranged this word, these four words, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, as Kshetre, Kshetre, Dharmam Kuru. Kshetra, we just talked about the field of action, and this field, the body. So in whichever field you are in, with whatever body you possess, you act righteously. Whether at home in the kitchen, whether in office, whether in a hospital, whether in outfield, whether in the army, wherever you are, in whichever field you are in, with whatever body you possess, act righteously. So that is Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre. And we talked about this Dhritarashtra. And this can be a Simhavalokana shloka, or it is a shloka for introspection at the end of each day. So, shloka for introspection. How? If we, the Dhritarashtra in us, should ask the Sanjaya in us. Who is Sanjaya? Sanjaya, Samyak Jayati, the one who conquers over himself or herself. That means his senses or her senses. So Samyak Jayati. Until this point, Sanjaya has not fought any war, but his name is the convincing conqueror of what? The senses and his mind. So Dhritarashtra in us should ask Sanjaya in us, hey, what did my Pandavas? Who are these Pandavas? The Pandavas are the five senses of action and five senses of perception. So action, five senses. So two hands. And then two legs. So that's two. Tongue, which speaks, three. And then excretory and procreating organs, reproductive organs. This is senses of action. And senses of perception are eyes, ears, nostrils, the tongue which tastes, and the skin which senses the perception of the touch. So these 5 and 5, so the 5 senses of action and 5 senses of perception, Pandavas, what did they do today in the battle of this world with the Kauravas? And Kauravas are hundreds, the hundreds of shades of anger, shades of desire, shades of greed, shades of pride and arrogance. So that's why this is Simhavalokana Shloka. A lion just looks backward, just glances backward after finishing its task, walks a distance, then looks back. So we too must pause at the end of each day and reflect on the inner battle. So it's a shloka for reflection. And we talked about Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. So Dhritarashtra is the representative for Mamakara, and hatred, Duryodhana. Anger, hatred. You can see how Duryodhana's dvesha, hatred towards Pandavas, and very densely egoistic with I, me, and myself, my way is the highway. So such an attitude is Duryodhana. So Mamakara and Ahamkara. So this two, Raga and Dvesha, these are the stumbles for our progress. If we go beyond these two, we reach the state of divinity to do good to humanity. And we see 3 types of ahankara in the first chapter. A tamasic ahankara, Dhritarashtra, as you can see. Nothing will change. Even after listening to 700 verses, nothing will change. Nothing will change. So then, is that the effect of Bhagavad Gita? Well, if you don't have an attitude to learn, it still has an effect. Swami Dayananda gives this example. One day, one lady goes to Swamiji and then asks Swamiji, my mother-in-law has been listening to Bhagavad Gita and doing this japa and Rudraksha for last 20 plus years, and I have not seen any effect. She is the same. And Swami Dayananda said, oh my goodness, what an effect, so all those 2 had on her. Imagine her if she did not do any of those 2. So at least Dhritarashtra remained so because he had been being advised by Vidura and also now Sanjaya. And then Rajasika Ahankara, here we see, and Sanjaya narrates saying that Društva tu Pandavanekam Yudham Duryodhanastata Acharyam Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravit Pashyaitam Pandamutputranam Acharyam Hatim Chamum Vyudham Drupada Putrena Tavasishyena Dhimata Atra Shura Maheshwasa Bhimarjana Samayudhi. He goes to Drona, not Bhishma. See, his ego is so much. Bhishma is a commander-in-chief. But he goes to Drona, who is next to Bhishma, and he says, hey, Acharya, look at, oh Dvijottama, oh best among Dvijas. Now here, even though you are a Brahmin and you are here now fighting for me, look at your own disciple, Drishtadyumna. Drishtadyumna is Draupadi's brother, and he is the commander-in-chief on Pandava's side. Look at, trained by you, and now he is standing against you, and his vow was to take away the life of Drona. And that's how Drupada Maharaj does penance to get Drishtadyumna. And now he is instigating Acharya, and he just enumerates who all are on my side and who all are on their side. And their side, he says, now Duryodhana, Atra Sura Maheshwasa Bhimarjuna Samayudhi. There's so many great warriors there who are equal to Bhima and Arjuna. Look at this. He doesn't compare with the commander-in-chief. He just compares. For him, only there are two people on the other side who Duryodhana thinks are the mighty. One is Bhima and the other is Arjuna. And he thinks that he can take care of Bhima and Karna can take care of Arjuna. And Karna is not there in the war field now because he didn't want to come in until Bhishma fell, because Bhishma humiliates Karna by saying he's Artharatha. There are so many Maharathas are there, but he is not equal to them. So says Bhishma. So there is so much in Mahabharata to talk about. But now, so Bhima Arjuna Samayuti. Yuyudhano Viratascha Drupadascha Maharathaha Kashyascha Parameshwasaha Parameshwasa Shikhandi cha Maharathaha. So Drishtadyumno Viratascha Satyakischa Parajita. He enumerates so many. And now all these names may sound like names. If you read the Bhagavad Gita by Paramahamsa Yogananda, each one is given a trait, a vice, a quality, good or not so good, or mixed. And what all were taught, the traits in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and what all the traits we know, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsara, Ahankara, Mamakara, Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha. So all these are represented by these. And now who are on my side? Bhavan, Bhishmascha, Karnascha, Krupascha, Samitinjaya, Ashwathama, Vikarnascha, Saumadattir, Jayadrathaha. Saumadattir Tathaivacha. So some texts say that. Now, Bhavan, you are here. Bhishma is there. Karna is not there in the war field, but he has so much confidence in him that Karna will come. He doesn't have that much of confidence in Bhishma. And then Ashwathama, Jayadratha, so many. So this is Rajasika Ahankara you see. And then you'll see Sattvika Ahankara by Arjuna also a bit in this here. So Arjuna, such a great name. Arjuna, Pandava Madhyama, Kaunteya, Partha, so many names are there. But Arjuna, the name is given to him because of his great quality, great trait. Arjuna means white. Arjuna Vriksha, there is a tree. The closest tree for Arjuna Vriksha, we can see the white cherry blossoming tree in Washington, D.C., which was gifted by Japan to Washington. So that is Arjuna Vriksha Vatta. Then there is another meaning for Arjuna. Rujutvat Arjuna. Rujutvam means straightforwardness. What he thinks he says and what he says he does. So that is Arjuna. But he also got this Sattvika Ahankara a little bit and he says, Hey Krishna, park my chariot between these two armies so that I shall see whom I should fight with now, or who are all assembled here with whom I shall be fighting with. So that I-ness should go to get to His Highness. So the little I-ness, forgetting, will make us closer to His Highness. Now Dharmakshetra and Kurukshetra. So let's see. I think I have another 15 minutes of time or 20 minutes of time. So the field of action, the world of perception, the act of perfection, all in contextual projection. So what's good for the world and what's right for the people in a given time and place is what is called dharma. So what is right for the people in a given time and place is called dharma. And dharma upholds the world and karma propels all of us, the people. Kurukshetra is us and is within us as body, mind and intellect complex. So I hope I made it so clear now for the inner meaning of these. In this world of plurality, we witness the diversity with many a personality, demonic, human and divine. Pandavas are 5, our organs of action and senses of perception, guided by Krishna, the intellect as a charioteer. Kauravas are hundreds of our desires, shades of lust, anger, greed, jealousy, ego, and pride, anchored by the ignorant Dhritarashtra, the blind king. Bhishma, Drona, Krupa, Karna, Duryodhana, Dushasana, Vikarna, Shakuni, and Shalya, Ashwathama, and Jayadratha. On Pandava's side, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva. These 5 are representatives of 5 great elements. Yudhishthira, Akasha Tattva, Bhima, Vayu Tattva, Arjuna, Agni Tattva, and Prithvi and Apas Tattva, Nakula, Sahadeva. Satyaki, Abhimanyu, Drishtadyumna, Shikhandi, each one with their own agenda, each one taking a side in the war, each one ready to fight with might and ready to face their own fate. In the midst of the war field, seeing gurus and grandsire, friends and cousins on the other side, kith and kin on either side, Arjuna now had nervous breakdown. He just says, Nakangshe Vijayam Krishna, Nacharagyam Sukhanica, Kim no Rajyena Govinda, Kim Bhogair Jivitena va. Looking at Krishna, looking up to Krishna. And this Kurukshetra is world, war, and work. It's a field of action. It's the world with a mission, bound by strings of attachment. And there is a prince with a dense ego and pride which he doesn't let go. There are very many people, old and wise, much more in disguise, teachers and preachers, disciples and deceivers, hundreds of Kauravas, heinous, malicious, thunderbolts in warfield, pride, greed. Pandavas on the other side, we have seen this day in and day out, with might and grit. We ourselves inflict this conflict, but victory and prosperity, justice and fortitude, success and rightness will embrace us instantly if we are with Krishna constantly. And Acharya, we have talked about Acharya. So Drona is called Acharya. Krupa is called Acharya. Acharya is such a great word in our Sanskriti or in our tradition. Acharati, the one who practices himself or herself. Then Acharayati, the one who makes others practice. So this Acharyas, which we call Gita Acharya, Jagat Guru. So Gita Acharya, the one who should be Shrotriya, Avrijina, and Akamahataha. Shrotriya means very knowledgeable. Avrijina means blemishless. And Akamahataha means selflessly, compassionate to teach others. So now this one, Duryodhana says to Drona, Apariyaptam tadasmakam balam bhishmabhirakshitam. Apariyaptam tadasmakam balam bhishmabhirakshitam. Pariyaptam tvidame tesham balam bhimabhirakshitam. So this word is a playful word. Again, as I said, Vyasa throws in the words which are worthy of so thinking and contemplating. So Paryaptam means enough, but Paryaptam means limited also. So Duryodhana, in his state of mind, which he is very anxious, agitated inside, and he appears to be confident outside. So he says, our army, protected by Bhishma, is Paryaptam, which means enough, because we have 11 Akshavanis. But at the same time, if you take Paryaptam as limited, it is limited because even though quantitatively we have 11 battalions and 7 on the other side, but it is limited because the great heroes are there. And then similarly, Paryaptam tu idam etesham balam bhima abhirakshitam. That army which is protected by Bhima, one meaning is limited, the other meaning is enough. That is enough to take care of us. So that's the play of the words, you can say. Now this next great verse. After all this, ततस्वैतैहरे युक्ते महति स्यन्दने स्थितौ माधवः पाण्डवश्चैव दिव्यौ शङ्खौ प्रदध्मतुः. On Kaurava's side, after listening to Duryodhana, Bhishma, he blows his conch. Tasya sanjanayan harsham kuruvruddha pitamahaha simhanadam vinadyochai shankham dadmau pratapavan. So when Bhishma, the commander-in-chief, blows the conch, on the other side you expect Drishtadyumna, the commander-in-chief, or Bhima or Arjuna, where Duryodhana is pointing them towards. But here, the one and only Krishna Paramatma is the one, Madhava, followed by Pandava. So Shankho Dadmau Pratap. So these Divyau Shankho Pradadmatahu. So Tatasvaitair Hayair Yukte Mahatis Yandane Sthitau Madhava Pandavaschaiva Divyau Shankho Pradadmatahu. These are Divya, divine conches. And we'll talk a little bit about this conch. पाञ्चजन्यं हृषीकेशो देवदत्तं धनञ्जयः पौण्ड्रं दद्मौ महाशङ्खं भीमकर्मावृकोदरः. Once more. पाञ्चजन्यं हृषीकेशो देवदत्तं धनञ्जयः पौण्ड्रं दद्मौ महाशङ्खं भीमकर्मावृकोदरः. So Rishikesha blew the conch by name Panchajanya. So who is Rishikesha? Rishikesha is another epithet for Krishna. But Rishikesha is a word which is used here by Vyasa because the literal meaning is the one who has beautiful flow of hair, as you can see in this picture. But the other name is the one who can control the senses, Rishika. Rishika means senses. Kesha means hair. Rishi means Harshadayaka, very pleasing hair, if you divide that way. Rishi and Kesha. But Rishika plus Isha, if you divide it that way, Rishika means senses. Isha means the Lord of senses. We just talked about Pandavas being our senses, and the Lord of the senses is none other than Rishikesha. Then the Shankha is called Panchajanya. Panchajanya, Panch, we know 5. Janya means the one which is born. So born out of Pancha. And what are those Pancha? These 5 great elements. What are the 5 great elements? Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa means water, and then Prithvi. We are all born with these 5 elements. All these 5 elements are in us. We have space, Akasha. We have breathing, prana. So we have Vayu. And we have Agni, the temperature. Swami Chinmayananda used to say, Thanda ho gaya ye aadmi. That means we are not alive anymore. And then we have water, 70% of our body. And Prithvi, all the minerals are from the earth. So this body is Panchajanya. And when he blows, he infuses life into this conch, this our body. So that is Rishikesha. So Panchajanyam Rishikesha. And there is mythological context as well. There is a Rakshasa called Panchajanya. And when he was killed by Krishna, he wanted Krishna to make conch out of his bones so that he would be closer to Krishna. And I'm rushing a little bit. Again, that's my usual problem, but we will try to finish well. And then Devadattam Dhananjayaha. So Dhananjaya is another epithet for Arjuna. Dhananjaya means the one who acquired so much of wealth, the one who conquered so much of wealth. As a prince, he conquered so many subordinate kings and brought all the wealth and gave it to Dhritarashtra. So that is one meaning. But what is real dhanam? Real dhanam is vidya dhanam sarvadhana pradhanam. This vidya, what is vidya? Ya vidya sa vimuktaye. That vidya which releases our bondage is called vidya. So moksha vidya. Moksha means what? Mohakshaya. The one which dissolves our delusion is moksha. So that vidya dhanam sarvadhana pradhanam. Because Krishna himself asks Arjuna, Kachiteta shrutam partha tvayaiకాగ్రేణ చేతస kachidajnana sammohaha pranastaste dhananjaya. So here Dhananjaya is your moha gone. And that is dhanam. And that dhanam is vidya dhanam, sarvadhana pradhanam. Sarvadhana pradhanam. Because this vidya is not stolen by thieves, not ruled over by kings, not shared by brothers, and it is not hard to bear. The more we spend, the more we accrue, and this is the greatest treasure. And there is a shloka, Subhashita. I'll just read. Nachoraharyam, nacharajarajyam, nabhratrubhajyam, nachabharakari, vyaye krute vardhata eva nityam, vidyadhanam sarvadhana pradhanam. And there, chariot is shown. अथ व्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा धर्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वजः प्रवृत्ते शस्त्रसम्पाते धनुरुद्यम्य पाण्डवः. So Arjuna's another epithet is Kapidhvaja. Kapidhvaja. So Hanuman is role model. You will be so successful because Hanuman has great qualities. Buddhir, balam, yasho, dhairyam, nirbhayatvam, arogata, ajadyam, vakpatutvam cha, Hanumat smaranat bhavet. Hanuman means victory. Hanuman means Jaya. There is Jaya Panchakam in Ramayana. So Jayatyati Balo Ramo. It starts like that. So Kapidhvajaha. Dhvaja means flag. The one who has Kapi on his flag. So Kapi, one meaning is monkey. But Kapi, the greater meaning is Kam means Brahman, Pibati. The one who drinks and enjoys and revels in Brahman is called Kapi, Hanuman. So that's where Dharma would be. That's where Krishna would be. And Arjuna asks Krishna, Hey Achyuta, Senayor, Bhayor Madhye, Ratham Sthapaya me Achyuta. And this happens 3 times in Bhagavad Gita. And because we have to park our body, mind, and intellect complex at physical level, at mental level, and at spiritual level, mental and intellectual level. So Achyuta means what? Infallible. The one who never falls from his status. And Achyuta means the one who never lets us fall from our status. And the one who keeps having lifted up, maintains our status is Achyuta. We see that in Vishnu Sahasranama also. Then why so much about chariot? You see, so many places. The chariot and Bhagavad Gita and Krishna and Arjuna. We just talked about Krishna and Arjuna. We talked about the conches, and now the chariot. The chariot is placed between 2 armies. And this chariot is nothing but our own body. Shariram Rathamevacha. Shariram Rathamevatu. In Kathopanishad, we come across this great verse. Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi. Shariram Rathamevatu. Rathamevacha. Buddhim tu Saradhim Vidhi. Manah Pragrahamevacha. Indriyani Hayanyahuhu. Vishayam Stesha Gocharan. Atmendriya Mano Yuktaha. Bhokta iti ahur manishinaha. So Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi. The Jivatma is Arjuna. Sorry, it's depicted a little differently, our AI. So the charioteer, the Rathasarathi is Krishna. So Parthasarathi is called. So Shariram Rathamevatu. The chariot is our body. And then Buddhi, our intellect, is Sarathi. And the mind is the reins. And the Indriyas, the senses, are the horses. And then the roads are the sense objects. So once more, the roads are the sense objects. The horses are the senses. And the reins is the mind. Here the mind is Draupadi. And the senses are Pandavas. And Jivatma is Ratha, master. And Ratha Sarathi is our Buddhi. So Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi, Shariram Rathamevatu, Buddhim tu Saradhim Vidhi, Manah Pragrahamevacha, Indriyani Hayanyahuhu, Vishayan Steshu Gocharan. Then Arjuna Christ. He says, war is not good. Because he sees Bhishma and Drona there. He doesn't see. And when the chariot is parked, it is parked in front of Bhishma and Drona purposefully by Krishna, not in front of Duryodhana and Dushasana. And seeing Bhishma and Drona, Arjuna just has a nervous breakdown. And only one word which is spoken by Krishna in the first chapter is this. 5 words. Partha, Pashya, Etan, Samavetan, Kurun iti. O Partha, Samavetan, Etan, assembled these Kurun Kauravas. Pashya, look at them. And then looking at them, now Arjuna says, now I'm trembling. Vepadhuscha sharire me romaharshascha jayate gandevam sramsate hasta tvakchaiva paridahyate. The bow is slipping away from my hand and my body is trembling. My mind is reeling. Sidanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishishyati. My tongue is parching. So physically trembled, emotionally broke down, mentally melted down, intellectually incapacitated. And he says, "Oh Krishna, war is not good because so many are killed and the women are all widowed. And then there appears now they just go disarray. And then in the society, there is no dharma. And the Pitru Devatas lose their status because there is no one who can remember the Pitru Devatas. And the women and men mingle with, and then there is so much of Varna Sankara happens. And whatever Arjuna says is so good. War is no good. In war, the loser is a loser, but the winner is also the next loser because there is so much of loss of lives, finances, and the progress. So Arjuna says, Papame vashaye dasman hatvaitan atatayanaha. These atatayans, no doubt, these are wretched, these are terrorists, but they should be pardoned. But that's not the place and time and the context which a Kshatriya, a prince in the warfield should talk. So this Atatayans means these are the 6 great, the vulture-like wretched people. Agnido Garadhaschaiva Shastrapanir Dhanapaha Kshetradharapa Hattacha Shadete Atatayanaha. The one who puts fire, the one who gives poison, the one who kills with weapons and guns, and the one who seizes the money, land, and the woman. So these are the 6 types of culprits. And these are the drohis. These are the wretched people. And in lawful, in our Vidura Niti, in Vasishtha Niti, and Vasishtha Smriti, and Chanakya Niti, so it is so said that these Atatayans have to be taken care right away. And that's what in the 2nd chapter we will come across once more this. So Arjuna, now he says, Yadimam apratikaram, because he's so overwhelmed by undue pity, undue compassion, which is not right at that particular context. So we have to see this. This war is only in the 1st chapter, a little bit in the 2nd chapter, and then a little bit in the 11th chapter. But rest all is about this Atma Vidya and this Laukika Vidya, this Vaidika Vidya, how we should behave in this world and how we should realize ourselves and how we should unite with the Supreme Consciousness. That is the teaching of this text. And here Arjuna, overwhelmed by this compassion, says, Yadimam apratikaram ashastram shastrapanya dhartarashrad rane hanyahu tanme kshemataram bhavet. Let them kill me. I'm not going to fight with them. विसृज्य सशरं चापं शोकसंविघ्नमानसः एवमुक्तः अर्जुनः सङ्ख्ये रथोपस्थ उपाविशत्. So that is how he sat. He sat in the chariot. He sat down, throwing away his bow and arrow, crying. And we see that continuity in the second chapter, how Arjuna's status was at that time and how Krishna takes care of it. So the chapter ends like this. I said a little bit of this in the beginning, but we will be time and again talking, we'll be talking about this. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishassu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama Prathamodhyaya. So in Gita Su means many Gitas. Each shloka is a Gita, a song. Upanishad Su, each chapter is an Upanishad. This is Arjuna Vishado Upanishad. Brahma Vidya, the one which talks about Brahman. Yoga Shastra, the one which leads us to unite with that supreme consciousness. And Samvada, it is not a quarreling fight or exchange of words, but it is a great dialogue with proper understanding. Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti